He had followed his maid for over 2 months without her knowing. He was even tailing her right now. He knew she wasn't cheating on him because he had been watching her for 2 months. So why did he keep following her? Because there was something strange about her. It didn't make sense, but he couldn't stop thinking about it. And tonight, he would finally get an answer. His wife, elegant and poised as always, was chatting with some guests when suddenly she stopped, looked at her phone, and excused herself abruptly. A few minutes later, John saw her leave the party with a man he didn't recognize and drive off in his expensive car. John, a wealthy businessman in his early 40s, always suspected his wife of cheating on him. Is it because she was bored, or did she want to hurt him? The answers remained elusive, and the nagging doubts refused to disappear. This feeling never left him alone, tormented him to the point where he hired a private investigator to follow his wife and see if his suspicions were true or not. While his wife was out with her lover, John would come home and find Emily cooking meals, cleaning the house, and taking care of everything.
Oh.
It was almost as if she was running the household better than his wife did. There was no sign of a family or friends visiting her, which made him wonder, where was she really from? Who was she? She had no family or friends and few work references. Why was she working so hard if money wasn't her motivation? What was driving her? I'm here because I love my job and I take pride in my work. As for why I'm here, well, that's a complicated question. He realized that he had been treating her unjustly, judging her based on his own fears and insecurities. Relieved, Emily smiled, thanking him for his understanding. However, John still had many unanswered questions about her past and the reason she was hiding from it. She paused, then continued in a softer voice. I'm running away from my past, Mr. Thompson. A past that, if it were to catch up with me, could destroy everything I built. The experience served as a reminder for both of them that appearances can be deceiving, and that trust is essential in any relationship. It seems the lady was flaunting her affair with the young man from the countryside. John, however, was unfazed by the news. Already knew about her actions and was done with her.
Ass.
As days turned into weeks, John's obsession with Emily grew. He decided to move on and leave his wife, but not because of her affair. He had played a part in it too, and he was ready to take responsibility for his actions. I'm actually relieved. His friend was shocked, but respected his decision. Despite her mysterious past, she had become an integral part of the household, and John was fortunate to have her. He knew that John was a strong, capable man who would be able to move on and find happiness again. Emily hesitated for a moment, but then explained that the photo was from her childhood. Those are my parents, she said, her voice filled with warmth. We were a happy family until tragedy struck. He announced his decision to his friend, who was surprised by the calmness in his voice. I was only 10 years old when my parents died in a car accident. Thank you, Mr. Thompson, she said. It means a lot to me that you understand. I was sent to live with relatives, but it wasn't a happy household. I was bullied and mistreated, and I couldn't take it anymore. That's why I left home and started working as a maid. It was because he was tired of the relationship and wanted to start fresh. He had no idea that Emily had gone through such a traumatic experience in her childhood. I'm sorry, Emily, he said. I had no idea you had gone through so much. You're a strong and resilient person, and I admire your strength. Couldn't imagine the pain and suffering she must have endured. That's why I can't afford for anyone to know where I am or what I am doing, not even you. John became more protective of Emily, making sure she felt comfortable and valued in her job. The incident with the photograph had brought them closer together. They both knew that they could rely on each other for support and understanding. He also became more aware of the importance of being kind and compassionate towards those who had experienced difficult times in their lives. He started following her around the city, trying to piece together the mystery surrounding her. She treated him like any other employer, which only added to his confusion. From that day on, John and Emily's relationship changed. He met someone who shared his interests and values, and they began dating. He was careful not to rush into anything, but he knew that he had found someone special. One day, John noticed a framed photograph on Emily's desk. It was a picture of her as a child standing in front of a house with 2 other people who looked like they were her parents. He became more appreciative of her hard work and dedication, treating her with the respect she deserved. Mr. Thompson decided to reward her loyalty and hard work with a raise and a promotion. She was now in charge of the entire household staff and was responsible for planning and organizing Mr. Thompson's schedule. Why didn't she seem to mind her position? Why didn't she aspire to be more than just a maid? Still, John trusted her implicitly, leaving her alone in his house, while he and his wife went to parties or business dinners. John realized that he had made a mistake by letting his suspicions take over him. He had judged Emily unfairly, causing unnecessary tension in his life. He noticed that she always wore simple, unremarkable clothes and never seemed to buy anything new. On the other hand, Emily felt a sense of relief wash over her. She had been able to keep her past a secret for so long, and she was grateful to Mr. Thompson for respecting her privacy. She also worked tirelessly without complaining, and always seemed to have a kind word for everyone. But the pie came back empty-handed, claiming that Mrs. Thompson was an exemplary woman who didn't even leave their luxurious mansion all week. Sitting her down in the living room, he laid out everything he had discovered about her. To his surprise, Emily didn't seem shocked or defensive. Instead, she looked calm. He decided to hire a private investigator to keep tabs on his wife. The pie discreetly followed her, reporting back to John with regular updates. But what the investigator found was surprising. Mrs. Thompson indeed had been meeting a man regularly, but they were simply having an affair. John was taken aback by her words. "What do you mean?" he asked. "Why are you here, Emily?" The only person John spent more time with than his wife was his maid, Emily, a mysterious young woman in her early 20s, who seemed to have come out of nowhere. It was during one of these events that John first noticed the peculiar behavior. John felt a surge of anger mixed with betrayal. He confronted his wife when they got home, demanding an explanation. She calmly replied that she had just gone for a drive with a friend, but John wasn't convinced. Her cool demeanor and vague response only fueled his suspicions. He couldn't shake off the feeling that he was being deceived. Days turned into weeks, and the seed of doubt grew in John's mind. Relieved, John thought that his suspicions were unfounded. But he couldn't help but wonder why his wife was seeing another man. As time passed, John found himself fixated on Emily, his maid. What made it worse was that Emily seemed unfazed by the fact that John spent more time with her than with his own wife. These questions swirled in John's head, and he began to spend more time observing Emily, noticing every little detail about her behavior. There was something about her humility and dedication that intrigued him. He staked out her apartment building, but it appeared to be nothing more than a run-down tenement. One evening, John decided to confront Emily with his findings. He wanted answers. "You think I'm hiding something," she said quietly, "but it's you who's truly hiding behind your suspicions and fears." Emily looked at him for a long moment, then slowly began to speak. She looked down at her hands, her voice trembling slightly. For a moment, John was speechless, had been so focused on his suspicions that he hadn't considered Emily's perspective. He apologized to her for his behavior, promising to respect her privacy. But respecting her wishes, he decided to drop the subject for now, promising himself that he would continue to be a good and respectful employer to her. In turn, Emily became even more diligent in her work, taking pride in her position. He resolved to be more cautious in the future, reminding himself that trust is the foundation of any strong relationship. She promised herself to remain loyal and dedicated to her job, working hard to make Mr. Thompson's life easier. Meanwhile, news about Mrs. Thompson's infidelity reached John through his friend. He had come to terms with his wife's betrayal and was focusing on rebuilding his life in a more positive way. He had realized that the problems in his marriage were not solely his wife's fault. "I knew about it a long time ago," John said, "and I'm not surprised." As for Emily, she continued to work diligently in the Thompson household, providing excellent service and maintaining a positive attitude. Months went by, and John's life took a new direction. As for Emily, she continued to work hard and provide excellent service to John, always remembering his kindness and understanding.